Hello, everyone. Welcome to my January 8th episode of Residency After Hours Car Therapy slash Physician Heal Thyself. My daily um, eval of my workday and things that happened and my feelings about them. Uh, if you have been here, if you are here, if you watch the other episodes, you realize that I don't have one for January 7th, because January 7th is a Wednesday, and on Wednesdays at uh, my program, we have academics. And the reason I didn't do one yesterday specifically is because I work nights, we have to work overnight and then go and do our academics. So on Wednesdays, our days are usually really long. So you come in at 6 a.m. and then you don't leave until maybe 9:30. Um, or maybe 9 o'clock. But yesterday I had to leave a little after 9:30 because January 7th, actually January 6th, was the day that was slated for our mid-year evaluations. I had mine done January 7th, obviously, because on the 6th, I was at work, and the 7th was the easiest day for us to set it up. And 6 months into internship, obviously, you know, there are some things that you feel like you're starting to get confident on. There are some other things that, you still need work on. And I was going into this, uh, a little anxious as usual. If you've watched the first, couple of episodes of this, then you know that the reason that I started this whole little series, it's because I am a person that just carries anxiety with them in literally whatever they do, right? And that's the point of this, is that I am trying to let that out, trying to process it in a hopefully healthier way. But when I went into the interview, or the meeting, what usually happens, or what happened, is that prior to this meeting, we are given some evaluations, like self-evaluation questions, and you get to answer, what do you think you're doing well? What do you feel like you can improve on? And I think what I said about what I was doing well was that I think that I'm good with just dealing with patients in general. I think that I'm not a very patient person. Like, I never was. I don't think there's anybody in my family. Like, impatience is hereditary in my family. I don't think we have very patient people. But patience is something that can be learned. And I think that I am slowly learning how to do, like, the one Mississippi, the two Mississippis, when like people are frustrating, or, like, you have patients that don't really want to cooperate with you or anything like that. Um, and I think that that's something that I'm doing well in right now. Things that I need to work on, obviously, like if you are a medical student, if you are, a resident, you always hear about fund of knowledge. Like, we have to keep reading, we have to keep improving. Uh, so that's what I said I was working on. And then just generally being able to make decisions, medical decisions, uh, or, simple things that an intern should know how to do, simple things that we should know how to manage. I'm trying to get that light off my face, y'all. It's impossible. I'm driving and the guy behind me, like, whatever. But anyway, so when I went into the meeting, I was a little afraid. I was like, okay, what are they going to say? What are the evals? Especially with the last 2 or 3 weeks of work that I was having. The last week, especially, had just been like a really strange week. A couple of different things happened, and then personally, I think it was just that end of year. I was just feeling really burnt out. I was just feeling like, I needed a break. But I went into the interview, and surprisingly, everything went well. The feedback that I got was, I was expecting it, but I actually didn't think that that was what I was going to get. It was just one of those things where you walk around and you observe, and it was spot on for what I expected for myself, but I didn't expect it from the program, which essentially was that I'm at work, I'm very quiet. Like, I don't volunteer things or like say things out loud. Um, and what I got in terms of feedback was that if you are quiet, it makes it seem like you don't know things. Like it makes it seem like your knowledge base is low, which is an interesting take on things because I think that like the term the quiet and or like not always rushing to do things is really more a personality based thing. Like if you know me intimately, like family, friends at home, things like that, then you know like I'm not a quiet person. Like I in a place where I'm comfortable, and I think that this is where it is. If you watched or listened to the very first episode of this thing that I did is I take time. It takes me a while to be comfortable in situations where I am new, where I don't know people. And I remember saying how I'm very envious of those people that just walk into a place and just make friends and just like are able to express themselves. I'm not like that. I am a very lead from the back kind of person. I am a very sit back and observe the situation. Like I want to solve problems. Like that is my thing. I'm always looking for problems to solve. And I think that's a little bit of the hang back thing. It's like you can get a big picture of what is going on if you are, kind of holding back and just looking. Um, so that was the thing for me. Like I'm still trying to feel out, where I'm comfortable, where in the thing, where I'm needed, where I can make the best, I can have the best impact. But I understand sometimes, like if people are volunteering things and you're waiting, it might seem like, oh, I don't know the answer to stuff, or oh, I don't know how to do things. But the good thing on the other side is that the emails that I got was that people said that I do my job and I work hard and I do all of these things, which is kind of incongruent with the whole you're quiet, which means that you don't know things. But I get it. I get it that like I need to be a little bit more vocal. Um, I need to be a little bit more participatory. I'm not a big kikier. Like I don't join in conversations. I don't have like many things to offer. I think one of the things, I'm not really sad about it, but I think one of the things about coming to the States at the age of 16, when I already had most of my formative years back home, is I've never really integrated, assimilated into the whole like American lifestyle. I don't really listen to American music a lot. I don't like, I cook all my food at home. I hardly go out. And now I am blessed to be married, which means like, I'm not looking for things outside. And friendships are great and everything, but I don't have a group of friends here that were running around and doing things all the time. My friends are scattered all over the country right now because most of them I met right before medical school or during medical school, and they're all like working professionals or doing all of these things. And since I've been in Pennsylvania, I haven't really had time. My husband and I haven't really had time to go meet people. Same thing with the program. I love my classmates. I love my fellow co-residents. I do live away from town. So every shred of time that I have, every free minute that I have, I'm running home to go hang out with my husband. I'm running home to go like, work on the things that we're working on at home. We haven't had a free weekend since we came here because I've my family is increasing and we've been basically going home and like getting our dopamine rushes from the babies, and I've been hanging out with my niece and stuff like that. So there hasn't really been much time to really integrate into things. I've gone to a couple of like resident hangouts and stuff and it's been really fun, but most of the time, especially also just because I know my energy levels, I know that if I go out and I do this thing, I come home and I'm basically broken. I don't care how much fun I had. I have to come back. I have to recharge. I have to regroup. So I'm very particular about where I put my energy. I'm very particular about where I spend my time. And it's something with the evaluation that like I understand that for purposes of like professional development, for purposes of advancement, or just to get more opportunities as I go through residency, I have to make that leap. The one thing though that I think for myself that I can say that I have is that I have a good like personal foundation and strength. Like I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to, you know, ask for opportunities. And I don't do it loudly, but I think that even this half of the year, as soon as I got there are different things that I've noticed where I've walked up to people, I've emailed people and said, hey, I want to be involved in this. How can I get there? And it's not always loud because, you don't always want to be running around and telling everybody what you're doing with your life all the time. But I think that, the feedback that I got was great for me and for my personal like improvement as I go through residency. I do think that I need to be a little bit more involved in things. I need to speak up a little bit more, interact a little bit more with like my attendings, the residents, and stuff like that. So I'm grateful that that was the one piece of like this is what you need to work on, because there are far worse things, right? People could be saying things like you have no idea what you're doing in residency, or everybody says that you suck as a resident. And I'm glad that isn't it. I'm hoping that what that means for the next 6 months before second year is that we as interns are given more space and more leeway to have a little bit more independence, to like make more decisions on our own. And I think like this night shift time is a great time for that. Yesterday was a good example. Yesterday at work, absolute nut show. Like it was nonsense and ridiculous. Not for anything, just because like sometimes that's the day we walked in and two people were ready to go to surgery at night. There are only three of us on our team if you don't count the trauma people who just do their own thing over there, because this is Philadelphia and there is always some traumatic thing going on that the trauma team has to deal with. So both of my seniors were in the operating room for the majority of the night, which means that like I had to basically cover the floors. And if you know what night shift is like as a resident, then you know that it's a bunch of people calling you and going, hey, this person needs like Tylenol because the Tylenol fell off, or like Oxy, or any of these things. And it's not to say that it's terrible work that requires a lot of thinking, but it is things that you have to spend time doing. And it went on. Like it took me an hour to actually eat my lunch or my dinner, because every time I started, something had to go be done. Every time I sat down, something had to go be done, which is how I like it. I worked for 6 years. I worked in the blood bank, and my favorite times in the blood bank and this, patients, my favorite times were when we had like massive transfusion protocols going, because that's when you could tell like the hump, the din of everything, like the pace was quick. You were doing red cells and you were thawing FFP and you were doing all of this stuff. So I like the busy nights. The nights when it's not busy, my brain is just dead. I can't study. I can't sleep. That was what 2 nights ago was for me. I couldn't do anything and I just kind of hung out. But yesterday was, I felt like I was making good decisions. I felt like I was, communicating properly with people. And for me, after having gotten the feedback, like, hey, you need to be more, proactive with like your thoughts and your actions. I felt like yesterday was a good example to like set that in motion. So I'm glad I got the feedback. I'm gonna keep working on things and just hopefully we have a better night tonight. I think one of the things that I'm worried about right now is I mentioned before that we have Upside, which is our in-service training. And I'm kind of okay with it, but we're about 20, 25 days away. And there's still a lot that I have to learn. As a first year, I've been told that it's good to shoot for like a good score, but you have to also give yourself grace because there is a bunch of stuff that you have no idea about. And a lot of things is just like rote memorization, and I'm not a big memorizer. So I'm hoping that the little bit of work that I do for this next 20 days will get me to a good point with the upside. Overall, Wednesday was a good day. I got decent feedback. I'm looking forward to the next 6 months. I'm looking forward to just continuing to grow so that by the time I'm a second year, because I've seen the second years in my program and holy crap, you look at these seniors and you're like, how are they doing this at 1 year? And then 6 months in, you're like, how am I going to be like these people? In first, like, what am I going to do in 6 months that's going to take me from bumbling, blustering intern to this like absolute sharp knifed, like just get up and do the thing second year. So that is what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to sharpen myself a little bit more as I keep going. If you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being my therapist in the void. And I hope you have a good night, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.